Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be running destroyers. As you can see, I was just in the Benson and, had an okay game, but not a whole lot. And we're going to try to get in the, the Tier 5 Fubuki for the Japanese. So, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it took me so long to make a video, guys. It's been a pretty rough week. As you guys can imagine, most of you guys already know that my grandfather passed away Thursday of last week. So, we just had a funeral this morning, or this afternoon. And so, I figure I better get on here and get a video out for you guys to watch. I'm probably just going to do the one for tonight. I do have an Iowa review, or not a review, an Iowa replay for you guys too. And I have a couple guys that have sent me replays. I'm not sure if they're ships or tanks yet. I haven't had a chance to check them out. But yeah, it's been pretty rough. But I wanted to jump in here and get you guys something to watch, so you're not completely bored out of your minds. Appreciate everybody being understanding. I know it's just one of those things that happens. My grandfather, for those of you who don't know, he was 81 years old. So I mean, he lived a good life, and he was the life of the party. You gotta love it. A lot of good memories. And so yeah, it's just one of those things in life that you run into. And it just so happens, I didn't tell you guys this, but a week before my grandfather passed, my grandma on my Doyle side of the family, her sister passed away. It was my Aunt Susie. And so I didn't tell you guys that. But my grandfather passing away hit me pretty hard. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to put any videos up, so I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. But to have 2 deaths in the family in the last 3 weeks has been pretty rough. So yeah, that hopefully explains the absence for you guys that don't read the community notes that I put out there for you guys. By the way, if you guys are ever wondering what's going on, generally either there or on Twitter. Sometimes I'll post on Twitter. I'm not as active on Twitter as I should be, but I do like to jump on there and talk to folks occasionally. But definitely the community hub on the YouTube page. I list all this sort of stuff. Now here, I go out into the center of the map on this map because it's not a domination, and a lot of times they just let you run around up here. And so we've got an Iron Duke out there, and he doesn't appear to be doing a whole lot. So I was like, he's in range. Let's just throw a little bit his direction and see what might happen here. I'm trying to see if he's going to move, so that's why I'm waiting forever. Because I figure maybe he just hadn't spawned in, or, something is definitely wrong. And then I just realized maybe he's just being a doofus. So I go ahead. I sent a whole bunch his direction, and notice I sent the first one kind of straight on the line, and then I covered both exits, put one out in front and one out behind, just in case he makes a move. But the problem is he was so far away that even in a narrow spread, by the time they get to him, they're going to cover a long distance. So you're probably not going to get as many hits. Now, I will say this. The Japanese destroyers are just broken. And by broken, I mean, in this case, a good thing. Because I get spotted in a moment, and I didn't know exactly where I get spotted from. But I knew it had to be another destroyer, because nobody else is going to spot me. Like, you're just not. This thing has a stupid concealment. And this is actually better than most, or like worse than most Japanese, I think. The Fubuki has to be like, 6 kilometers or something? People can start spotting you. Which seems like it's relatively decent. As you can see, we get a good hit on the guy in the Iron Duke. And he's flooding, and apparently he's going to not realize he's flooding, or I don't know, honestly, because he just lets himself flood out. I don't know, but I'm gonna say thank you. So as you can see, I'm kind of just checking this out. I don't want to get in a fight with an Omaha because it's very quick for him to just flip over to high explosive and ruin my day with those 155 millimeter guns. So definitely not something I just want to pick a fight with. Now, if he turns broadside on and I'm close enough, I'll go toe to toe with him any day of the week, because 127 millimeter double barrel guns can absolutely citadel an Omaha to death very quickly. Now this Mahan, I don't know what he was thinking, but he was wrong, because he is tunnel vision and something fierce. He is just not paying attention at all. And I'm like, oh god, I gotta shoot him. I'm freaking out because it's like, this guy's right here. No, his guns ain't even pointing at me. It's just like, just sail in this direction. I hit his propulsion, which is gonna slow him down just a bit. But it doesn't matter because he's gonna catch him anyway because he's not paying attention. And we managed to torp a destroyer, which is always fun. If you get torped in a destroyer, I've done it, don't get me wrong, I've done it. But usually it's something stupid that happens. Like a guy will spew a whole bunch of torpedoes and you just don't know they're coming and you just happen to run into them. At the wrong time. I've done it with Bullseye. Like I kill a guy and then I'm like going back. I wait for 20 seconds or whatever, and then I decide to take off and then catch a torpedo because I waited. If I'd have took off immediately, I'd have been fine. But no, because I just happened to wait long enough for the torpedoes to get to close enough, I managed to pull out in front of one and catch it. And when you're in a destroyer, if you catch generally one torpedo is enough to kill you. One torpedo. So definitely got to avoid them. Luckily, it's very easy to avoid torpedoes in a destroyer as well. That's why I gave him the widespread. Even though he was that close, I didn't want to take a chance of him somehow managing to get away one way or the other. I was going to put enough torpedoes far enough apart from one another that there was literally almost nothing he could have done other than turn straight towards me at the perfect time and try to maybe get between them. And even then, because I was overlapping them, it would have been difficult for him to do. I've seen it. I've actually seen a guy do it, which is impressive. I think there was a video on it not too long ago with Bullseye. I fire a couple salvos of torpedoes, and I'm like, I got this guy. There's no way. And he somehow manages to turn perfectly and get between them. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Guys, I need some help. This guy knows what he's doing. This guy, on the other hand, not so much. We go ahead, we give him the widespread, and we're going to go ahead put a little bit behind. Wait for the torpedoes. There we go. We get two salvos off. And the third one is just kind of waiting. We don't want to throw him right away because I was thinking maybe this guy's going to sail into him because he's not changing course. But I don't want to waste it just in case he does turn. I might be able to catch him with the last salvo after he turns because he wouldn't be expecting it. He's expecting the full salvo right away. We get a good solid hit on him. And then we go ahead and send the last three in his general direction. Unfortunately, he goes ahead and he's like, screw this. I'm not fighting a destroyer. I'm out of here. And I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not going after that guy. He's going to go right into my entire team. So I'm going to go over here and feed off of some of these Iron Dukes. Now, as you've seen, these torpedoes don't take that long to reload. I mean, I get 3 sets of 3, so that's 9 torpedoes, and they reload every, what, minute? So, yeah. Very, very good. And if you space them out, you could be almost constantly firing torpedoes. Now here I've got a bit of a pickle. I'm going to be firing torpedoes at targets that are moving away from me, which is never preferable because anytime you're doing that, the torpedoes have to travel further, which gives these guys more of a chance to do something stupid like get out of the way. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and try to play a little bit of a double strike here. I've got 2 battleships well within range. I'm firing the first salvo at the rear battleship, and then the second battleship, we're going to go ahead and put 2 sets of torpedoes in his direction. The reason I'm giving him 2 sets of torpedoes is because there's a chance that if this guy in the rear tries to avoid his torpedoes, he could potentially run into the ones that I'm sending at the second guy. That's the thought process. Now, admittedly, I'm not the most strategery when it comes to destroyers. I try to be, but one of 2 things usually happens when I'm in a destroyer. I either think that I'm doing something correctly and get caught immediately and obliterated because I just have the worst luck in the world. I've said that before. But as you can see, first set of torps is on the way. He makes an adjustment, but he just catches 1. And that's where they spread out again. That's because he was able to go so far after I fired him. They'd spread out so far that he managed to avoid all but 1 of them. But still, 1 torpedo is a devastating hit. And we do get a second torpedo hit on the guy in the front. So, 2 Iron Dukes sailing in a straight line, and they managed to get 1 torp each. So, that's pretty solid. I send 9 torpedoes out and get 2 hits. That's pretty good for me. But we're going to try to chase these guys down. Now, this is where you get into trouble in a destroyer. You get greedy. and then you forget that these guys have really big guns. So, yeah, this is going to be a thing. So I go here, I'm like, alright, we're going to go ahead and set up our next salvo of torpedoes. Let's just go ahead and throw these out, and yeah, it looks about right. And then we'll go ahead and throw these ones out a little bit to the left. Oh, doesn't look like it. We just get absolutely pelted by a battleship who decided he didn't want to fire full salvo. He just wants to fire a little bit at a time. But then we go ahead and throw some more torpedoes out anyway. And we're just like, oh, we got this. Unfortunately, even though I just got obliterated, don't get me wrong, I was hoping to get another chance at some more of these nice, juicy battleships that are sitting out here. But if you notice the base, our team decided, this chasing battleships ain't a whole lot of fun. We're just going to go ahead and cap the base. And I didn't notice. Otherwise, I'd have been firing my guns right about now. But, unfortunately, I never get the chance. By the time I realize it, I think you'll see it here in a second, I'm like, oh god, we're about to cap the base. And, wait for it. Oh crap. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Darn it! But anyway, it's not a great game, but not a bad game for me in a destroyer. I'm not very good in destroyers. I don't have the luck that some people have. Bullseye. And their destroyers. But I still managed to get top of the leaderboard, 2400 XP, 91,000 damage with 6 torpedo hits and a kill. So, not bad. If you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.